This sport of adventure racing is not as crazy and extreme and bizarre as it looks. It's enjoying some days together with friends. It's enjoying the outdoors and maybe pushing yourself a little further than you're used to. But the rewards and the happiness that you have after achieving that is indescribable. And I would just suggest to people to do something that they don't think they can do and that looks like fun, and to take that little step and do it safely and do it with friends.
Well, I'm Emma Roca. I'm 26 years old, Catalonia, Spain.
Hi, I'm Barry Siff. I'm 45 years old on Team Outlast.
Jeg hedder Anne-Sophie, 21 years old. I've always been an outdoor girl.
John Howard, 44 years old, New Zealand.
Hi, my name's Sarah O'Dell. I'm from London in England, 32 years old.
My name is Kent Davidson. I'm 49 years old from Little Rock.
My name is Frederica Welmer, and that's it.
Namaste, namaste. Today is a mystical and weird day. Our goddess sent some hundreds of strange and totally crazy foreigners into our countries. They seem to participate in a big pilgrim, something like that. I guess they do that for their gods, for their spirits. Something must have gone badly wrong. They want to suffer. Whatever. They say they want to cross the holy mountains, some 900 kilometers from Tibet to Nepal. Trans-Himalaya, they call that. And they always talk about red Gauloises. Whatever. I think that's kind of a mystical, some kind of mystical spirit.
The Red Gauloises represents a phenomenal experience, an adventure, an exploration of a land that otherwise I would never see.
I need it. It's like a drug.
It's the Super Bowl from an American football perspective.
You've got 5-person teams racing against each other from point A to point B.
Most people aspire to do this race more than any race in the world.
Swimming, running, cycling, mountaineering, all sorts of different sports.
It's an international phenomenon.
It's the being with your teammates. It's laughing and it's crying.
It's hard sport.
It's a big adventure, but you're racing it.
Yeah, it's just living a lifetime in just 10 days.
Okay, start gonna be at 8:45, so it's another 2 hours and 40 minutes. 2 hours, 14 minutes for takeoff. Over.
About 2 years ago, I went from being full-time professor at a medical school to working part-time in part to be able to train and prepare for this event.
Well, we don't have many high mountains in Denmark. The highest one is 170 meters, so it's hard. But we run up and down and up and down and up and down. Get the best out of it.
I've trained all my life, even since I was at school. When I was 12 years old, this was a journey for me all through my life, learning things and how to travel in the wilderness.
It's Marcus for Sarah, We got another 59 minutes. Over.
And I actually saw a television documentary on the race. I was sitting in my flat in Paris one day, just flicking through the channels, and poof, there it was. The most incredible images, people abseiling down waterfalls, running, working as a team. And I just thought, wow, I would really love to try that.
One of my dreams is to have a lot of children, but that they would like the sport and the nature and to enjoy the things that I am enjoying now.
Marcus for Barry, 15 minutes, over.
My training for adventure racing is not training, it's my lifestyle. Waking up in the morning when I wake up, and it's going for a hike, and it's going for bike rides.
You know that you are going to live a very beautiful experience, but at the same time you're a little bit scared of all you are going to suffer, because I know already that we are going to suffer a lot. So it's a strange feeling. It's a special Raid Gauloises feeling.
Just a couple of seconds for the Trans-Himalaya 2000. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The race has started. The competitors are on their way.
The start of the race was just incredible. We started on the Tibetan plateau near a monastery, an ancient ruin on a hill that was just, I mean, it was like something out of a medieval video game, you know, with a ruined wall running up a hill, and it was just an incredible scene. And we actually ended up running through a monastery, and of course, the monks were all happy to see us, which I was glad to know that we weren't disturbing their solace or their sanctuary.
It's amazing how people live in such desolate areas, but it has its own beauty. It's very stark.
The first part was, it was very high, so the first difficulties for all the teams were the altitude.
We actually ran or walked for an hour or two to get to our mountain bike, started mountain biking.
Right from the start, I knew it was going to be very fast, and we set off at a cracking pace.
Ahora sí que estoy esperando. ¿Ven? ¿Sí?
And then started on the mountain bikes through the Tibetan plateau, long climbs and dust, wind, just incredibly trying kind of environment.
What I remember especially about the first section was that we were very surprised that the biking in Tibet was so hard. It was so tough because of the wind and the altitude. Yeah, I think all the guys were quite sick there, and I was the only one feeling good at that bike section. So suddenly it was me who was pulling the others in the elastic, and I was so surprised about that. So that I'll never forget, I think. It was a good start for me.
Hay mucho viento, mucho viento, y estamos todo el rato muy alto. Y yo estoy un poco mareada, entonces voy poco a poco y en la subida me bajo de la bicicleta directamente.
The constant wind, the dust, it was really hard at times to keep going.
Had terrific headwinds on the mountain biking section at 4,000 meters probably high, and that was very hard. Everyone got dust in their lungs because they were breathing very heavy, and we found that probably the hardest section.
I think the sense of life is sharing love and happiness with others and allowing yourself to experience that as a result. Running a very, very, very big business, I thought that money was very important. And I've come to realize in my years of adventure racing that experiences are important, and love and happiness is important, and sharing that with others. And I feel that adventure racing allows me to do that.
I think you have to accept your own individual responsibility for yourself. You can't sort of push it aside onto some religion or something. You have to accept responsibility for your own actions. I think you should try and pack as much into your life as possible.
End of mountain bike. This is CP5. The first team's arriving here. Over.
We arrive at the start of the horse trekking in 5th place. So then we grab our little pony, who is so amazing, so strong.
Para los primeros minutos sí, después ya le daré a otro. Así yo podría andar un poco más tranquila.
I know we did a very long trek that first day and night, and that's where a lot of teams had some difficulties in the mountains. We spent the first 2 days at 4,500 to 5,100 meters in elevation. That was very hard, and we were very cold.
We hiked with the horse probably 20 hours or more.
Then the next morning, the conditions then went kind of from bad to worse, and it started snowing on us. At that point, we were dealing with some sleep deprivation and hallucinations.
Our water freezes over, we can't get any water. Everybody dehydrates, everyone's sort of stumbling about, all the teams around us.
We missed the checkpoint on the second day, and that held us up a little bit, discouraged us a little bit, but we came back.
Came over the pass, and the problem started because I was getting really bad. I was sick in my stomach, and I couldn't eat, and I didn't drink much, so I was really weak at that moment. I didn't have any energy at all, and it was getting cold, and I was really freezing cold, so I had some problems.
Good morning, CP10. It's Tuesday, 2nd of May. Let's welcome this beautiful morning. We are here at the start of the second mountain bike section of the race. The 50 stand to the Nepalese border ahead of us. The first team should be already there. So let's get on the bikes and follow them. Over.
Young hearts can go that way. Can't put it off another day.
We rode
rode our mountain bikes through what would have to be some of the most beautiful terrain in the world.
Through these roads that zigzagged around these enormous canyons with waterfalls cascading down, and it was really, really something I'll always remember.
We dropped some 4,000 meters and just had a great time. I mean, our spirits were lifted. You know, we'd gone from a snowstorm to all of a sudden we were actually a little bit hot.
Ahora estamos en la frontera para pasar de Tibet a Nepal.
We have been stopped by a boarding crossing, so all the teams have joined together. They've all just regrouped basically because we had to stop overnight because of the closing of the border, and the race is effectively starting again from this point.
All the other teams had to wait, and so after 2 days of racing, we were with the leaders. There were, 8 or 10 or 12 teams all together. Good for us, not great for them.
The most important thing in my life, it's being first healthy and then very, very happy. That I think to do always the things that you like, to never do things that other guys impose you, other guys oblige you to do it. For me, if I do these races, it's because I like them a lot. If not, I can stay at home doing other things that I like.
For my own part, it's listening to your instinct and knowing when an opportunity is right and when it's wrong. And everything kind of said against don't go 6 weeks, it's a long time out of work. You may not even race, you might just be assistant. How will you feel about that? But in the back of my mind, I knew that I would race, and I kind of knew that this year would be the race for me. So I think my ethos in life is that you just have to do just follow your instincts really, because sometimes it feels so wrong, but ultimately it will be right.
I think the sense of life is what I said before. It's really to try to have a very positive attitude, to enjoy life, to be responsible at time, and that's important because life is short.
Next morning, got on the Hydra Speed, went down the Sunkosi River. That was a fairly short activity, 3-4 hours.
Schlimm finde ich nicht, aber so die Wassersportarten sind nicht mein Ding. Also ich bin ein Bergsportler.
Whitewater swimming was great. It was easy, but it was a chance for the team to relax a bit.
Little bolt type things which we hydro speeded through rapids.
The whitewater swimming was very cool. That's where you're on your stomach and you're tubing down this whitewater. It was crazy. Like all kinds of cuts and bruises and bangs and fun. We were laughing and racing.
This is CP23 on 2,100 meters. 5 teams have already passed. Over.
Mid-trekking was the highlight. Just incredible terracing. Thousands and thousands of years of work gone into making these beautiful terraces as far as the eye could see. Not just one hillside, but many, many hillsides all terraced. It was just stunning.
You don't remember what to do. You don't remember where to go. You don't remember what to choose.
It was quite a long section, probably at least 24 hours.
You need down.
Take a trail.
Down.
Not accessible from other vehicles.
And then we got to the boats, and they had to physically carry me to the boat and put me in the canoe. And they told me I could sleep in the canoe, but there was no way you could sleep in the canoe.
Concrete sky. You thought you were flying.
So we start the canoeing, and we have a few problems with the combinations of people and weight. So we spend a bit of time sorting out, putting different people in different canoes, exchange weight. But hey, this is the raid, you have to deal with it.
Oh, you know she's back again. You weave, you steam, you feel, you need now.
And then afterwards rafting, and then we are starting to get tired of it because it was a lot of rowing and rowing and rowing.
The canoeing section went well, the rafting section went well, the canyoneering section was just incredible.
It was quite fun in that part because we were, I think, 3 or 4 teams right after each other, and we were really pushing each other because we wanted to be the first in the canyon, didn't want to get stuck there.
Canyoneering, which I hated. I was slipping about all over the place. I was acting like I'd never done any rappelling. The officials were starting to look a bit concerned, and it was a bit of a wake-up call when they said, if she slips again and falls, she won't do the last rappel. Well, if I don't do the last rappel, that's it. You know, we're not classified in the rankings.
The sense of life is to follow your dreams and try to do something you might not always be sure you can do, and then you get a lot of satisfaction. And when you're 90 years, 100 old, I can sit back and I can say, oh, I've done this and this, and this I tried, but it didn't work out, and it just, yeah, at least I tried it. That's the worth it.
My life has been pretty magical. For the last 20 years, I've traveled all over the world. I've kayaked rivers. I've climbed mountains. I've enjoyed good health. I've been fairly successful in my professional life, and I've been married almost 25 years. I've been married longer than I've not been married, so I You know, it's not that I don't have dreams or aspirations, but my life has just been wonderful.
After about 750 kilometers, the first team, the leading team, comes out of the wilderness. Welcome, Team Solomon Land Rover, to headquarter 4. Over.
We had a very, very good race right up into the last assistance point. We arrived at assistance point 4 and our assistants weren't there with our bicycles, and so we had a big problem. We had allowed ourselves 10 minutes to get on our bikes because we had to eat and drink and rehydrate, and we arrived to find no bikes there, no assistance, and I couldn't believe it. Nothing will be here. Our bikes won't be here. Yeah. Oh well. At first I thought the organisers were joking with us to say that our assistants weren't there. I couldn't believe it was happening. This is not happening. This is not happening. Well, we sat down, and after about 5 or 10 minutes, we decided this was crazy because the organisers were telling us that they didn't know where our assistants were. They thought they could be 8-10 hours away. It was possible that they were a long, long way away, and so we didn't know what to do, basically. And then I think it was me that came up with the idea that we could actually borrow some local bikes and finish the race on some local bikes. And these are bikes with baskets and bells, and they're not mountain bikes. So we realised it would probably take twice as long on those bikes, but we'd get to finish the race because we didn't know. Like our assistants could have been anywhere. Like, no one knew. So after an hour probably of mucking around, altering things a bit, we started biking out on the route that we were supposed to follow.
We're at CP39, which is also assistance point 4. The Solomon Land Rover came through here a few minutes ago. However, their assistance crew was not here, so they had to work with bicycles which they acquired out in town. They also didn't have the food and the maps that they're used to working with. Air Tips has just arrived. They're a few minutes behind Solomon Land Rover, but they do have the bikes and the gear that they're used to.
And after a while we started running into assistance vehicles coming towards us. And we talked to one of those assistance vehicles, and they told us that our assistants were not too far behind. And so we decided we'd return to the assistance point 4, wait till our assistants arrived and get our proper bikes, because the bikes we were using, the local, Nepali bikes, were pretty hard work. And we realised that it would have probably taken twice as long. We realised by this stage we had seen the leading team come past us as we were returning to assistance point 4, and we were pretty devastated, but what can you do? You know, it was one of those situations, an act of God, basically.
Headquarter 4, 8:38 p.m. Team Locality just arriving. Over.
So finally we get to the last bikes transition, and I'm completely dead, but we have to keep going. And we're chasing for 3rd place. We know we can catch into sport because we know we can bike stronger. And at the next next checkpoint, having left half an hour behind them, we're only 12 minutes behind them at the next checkpoint. Following checkpoint, it's 3 minutes. But it's amazing, it still took us 4 hours to actually catch up with them. So we're kind of playing this cat and mouse game with them. Then we come across Salomon Land Rover who are lost in the dark. And this is obviously a great feeling because suddenly first place is like there. You know, we thought this team had already won and we were still out here. Suddenly we're racing for second because we know that Air Tips is ahead of us. Then we pass Air Tips and the battle is on. It's a head-to-head battle with Intersport, and finally I get the nod from Petri. He says we're 4 kilometers from the transition area and we've got to lose this team. We got 4 minutes on them at the bike transition and the rest is history. It was just one long, hard run to the finish line.
Pretty strong cyclist, so
Today is a great day. The strange and crazy foreigners finished the pilgrim on our godliest, holiest place in Janakpur. After 5 moons and 6 suns, they suddenly came out of the wilderness, totally dirty. They made up some funny flags to greet each other, whatever. They say they are going back to their families, to their countries, to move on with their lives. I don't know. I think they wanted to sacrifice something to their spirits, to their gods. They seem to be happy now.
When I crossed the finish line, it was very unreal. I was very spaced out. I wasn't really there. I mean, I was aware that, yes, we were the first to reach the finish line, but the impact of what it was hadn't really hit me.
These races, I hope that they will never finish, because with these races people can spend a great time in a nature paradise and also doing activities that we like, that for a sportman or a sportwoman it's the best.